Hi, I'm Glenn Whipp with the Los Angeles Times. BBC America's Orphan Black was one of the great discoveries of this television season. In its opening moments, we meet Sarah Manning, who is in a train station and she witnesses a young woman, a woman who looks exactly like her, commit suicide. Desperate for money, Sarah assumes the woman's identity, and then things get really complicated as other women who look exactly like Sarah begin turning up all over the place. Tatiana Maslany plays Sarah and all the other women, and she's with us today. Thank you. Good morning.
Hello, guys. How's it going? How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. I'm glad this finally worked.
We have a lot of questions from people who've been patiently waiting here. Um, let me ask a few of those
Yeah.
questions just to start off. My connection with you is still a little spotty. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, yeah, you're a little
All
robotic, but
right,
we'll
now
we'll make
you
it
just
work.
came through loud and clear, which is great. And thank you everyone for being patient on this. Uh,
Nice.
let me just ask.
Hey guys, thanks for being patient.
Let me just ask you a question. As we're starting, I saw you last week. Saw a video of you last week at the Critics' Choice Awards, which seemed to you a mind-blowing event. You won Best Actress for Orphan Black. Were you as nervous as you seemed in the video?
Yeah. Probably more nervous. I was like trying to contain myself, but my whole body was shaking. It was insane. Insane.
It seems like the show, which premiered late March, is even cresting now. More and more people are discovering it. It's been kind of a cool ride, hasn't it?
It's amazing, and I think, it's definitely because of the fans of the show who are talking about it and tweeting about it, like making fan art and forcing their friends to watch it. Like that's the reason that we've been seeing it all, because we're quite a small show and a little bit under the radar. So it's honestly it's the Clone Club. Clone Club's done it.
Well, and you mentioned the fans; they have been really patient. I'm just going to blow through some fan questions here. Uh, let's see. We had
Sure.
Dre Benfield was the first one in the queue, and she was wondering, or did you ever find yourself lost in a character at any time? You have to play several different characters, and sometimes you're playing Sarah playing the characters. Um, how'd you keep it all straight?
I mean, uh, it's a combination of things. It's the aesthetic of the characters really helps me. Being able to look in the mirror and see somebody different helps me to make the shift, to a kind of internal shift as well, which I base on the worldview of the characters, what their fears are, what their dreams are, um, and the music too. I've talked about music a lot being an inspiration for me. Um, and music changes the way I walk around. It changes my internal rhythms. It changes the way I feel about myself, the way I walk into a room. So being really specific about the different music I use for different characters was really important to me, because I think going from a very physical place made it immediately drop in for me, instead of like an intellectual place, because then you can kind of get stuck in your head. But
I think we had a
yeah.
reader named Andrea who was asking about the music. Can you talk about specific choices for the specific characters?
Yeah, for Sarah, I used like The Clash, I used Dizzy Rascal, I used The Streets, which are a couple of UK grime rappers. I For Helena, it was Anthony and the Johnsons and Tom Waits, because obviously. And for Allison, it's like all show tunes, like musicals. West Side Story and Les Mis and stuff like that. And then for Cosima, it was Grimes and Diplo and kind of like electronica music and that kind of stuff. So
And
yeah,
so the music and hair,
I can see the chat, guys.
music, hair, makeup, wardrobe, all those things really kind of helped you, make the shift from character to character.
Yeah, for sure. Because, so much of our identity is reflected through how we show ourselves, externally. And often it's kind of in contrast with who we actually are inside. There's a certain image we want to put out of ourselves, and for Allison especially, that was a really important thing because she puts out this very clean, um, perfect, everything in place, like straight lines veneer on the outside, but inside she's in chaos and is desperately afraid that people are going to realize how imperfect she is. So that dichotomy is really interesting to me.
Katie McLean was
Bonjour.
Katie McLean was wondering, was there a character who was more challenging to play? Was there one particular one that was especially challenging for you?
Yeah, I mean, they were all challenging when I first started, and as they grew, they became more challenging because more intricacy had to be brought into it, more depth and more change as well, which is scary to change the characters that you kind of come up with. For me, was quite scary because then it was like, well, where are they going to go and what are they going to become? And but that's also the most exciting thing. And I found Rachel, the last clone, to be very scary to play because of her ruthlessness and her kind of iciness, and she's so opposite from who I am, and so opposite from my energy, and so uh, to have that stillness and that womanliness and that um, entitlement was daunting, but really exciting, really exciting.
Did you know what you were getting into when you signed on for this show? I mean, from you probably had read just the pilot, right? Did you know how far?
Yeah, I no idea where it was going to go. I'd read 2 episodes when I signed on. I didn't even know how many clones there were going to be. I didn't know what the clones were going to be, what kind of hola, um, what kind of you know characters I was going to have to play. So it was, but I totally trusted the writing because the writers are incredible, the creators are incredible, and I just have ultimate trust in where they're going with everything. So I was kind of like up for it. I'm up for whatever they throw at me.
The 10 episode run, what was the production schedule? How long did you take to shoot that 10 episodes?
We shot for 4 months, so it was really fast,
And you had
really fast. I wish I could speak Dutch. I can't.
and you had like one day
Sorry.
off the whole 4 months, right?
Yes, I think one solitary day off, and I'd lost my voice completely after singing as
That's what
Allison.
did
So
it.
that in a combination of being completely, worn out.
Let's see what
Yeah.
other questions.
I am aware of the everyone as Tatiana jokes, you guys. I love the Tumblr stuff that you guys put up. All the fan art's amazing.
We have someone asking, when did production end? She's asking, Tammy's asking, since season one has ended, do you ever catch yourself in characters when doing your daily routine? I mean, how long did it take you to shake this?
Only to shed them, I think it took a couple months for me to want to do anything else. I mean, I was so wrapped up in Orphan Black, and it was so important to me and so part of my life that it was my life. So it was, it was hard to let go of it. But the only time I find myself slipping into the characters is when I'm with Jordan, and who plays Felix, who's absolutely brilliant. And when we get together, we kind of fall right back into Sarah and Felix, and it sometimes ends in, we're kind of speaking in the accents, and sort of the dynamic comes back, and yeah, which is really cool.
Okay. You keep reading that scroll. We have so many questions here.
Hi, Paulette.
Let's see. How and
The foot poke was part of the script. I think that was Graham that came up with it. Sorry, go ahead.
well, we're getting a lot of questions about the transition between the clones. We asked you about the most challenging one. There's one from O'Shea asking, do you have a favorite clone you love to play?
I love playing Allison. Um, I love playing Helena. I sad to see Helena go. Because she's such a nutcase. Both of them have this kind of, they're nutty in their own ways, you know, very, very different. Allison's nuttiness is like this super socialized nuttiness. And Helena's is like, you know, counter how society functions. So she's really fun to play because I kind of get to do everything that, you know, we as people aren't supposed to do in public or in social situations. So that's really freeing.
There's a question. We have a lot of questions.
Hi, Mars. Hi, Anissa.
People are really interested.
Hola, Brenda. Sorry.
People are really interested in the process.
Go ahead.
There are a lot of questions. Scott Woods asking a variation of it. Do you play more than one of your characters in the same day? I mean, the shooting schedule pretty much necessitates that, right?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. The most characters I think I play in a day are three, um, and you know sometimes three in a scene kind of thing. But yeah, it's definitely there's two clones a day usually. Sometimes I'll have a whole day as Allison if we're shooting up at Allison's house, but most of the time it's like three characters a day. Hi, Darian. Hi, Quinn.
Do-
Hi, Alexia.
and again, another variation is Caroline's asking, well, what's the best part of acting this many characters? I mean, it really is kind of an actor's dream, isn't it?
It's totally a dream. It's a total dream. I mean, it's a huge challenge, and that's why I'm so excited by it. Um, but it's a dream because you know, as an actor, you want to stretch yourself. You want to like for myself, I want to challenge the way that I feel I can move or express myself, or the kinds of characters I can empathize with, or the kinds of characters I could become. So this is like the ultimate test of that, and the ultimate you know, playground, because I get to create so many different characters and 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 playing them three times a day. I'm never bored, you know, I'm always challenged, I'm always kind of trying to keep up, and that's the best part. And they're all so well written. They're all just incredible um, women, and flawed and complicated. And you know, it's so rare that I would even read one woman who had that kind of depth and complication. And so it's really exciting to read six of them. You know, and so I'm so lucky I get to play them. Hi, Crystal. Hi, Marty.
Yeah, that really is kind of the beauty of the show is that the writing and in your acting, each clone is so distinct, a distinct character,
Mm.
and real depth and fully realized.
Yeah, I mean that's a testament to everybody who's on the show, and who's created these characters with me. I mean, it's definitely not a solitary job. It's very much a collaboration between myself and the writers and the directors and the hair, makeup, costume people and my fellow actors and my amazing clone double whose name is Catherine and who's brilliant and you know helps me keep things straight, helps me create the characters, bounces things off me, is there as support, is there as the characters when she's off screen, you know, and she's just absolutely brilliant.
Harriet Young McGregor is wondering, are you hoping for a clone from a certain country in the future? Or maybe are you hoping there's not going to be one from a certain country, depending on the accent and your ability to do it?
Um, Hi, Noelle. Um, I don't know. Like, I'm kind of up for whatever. I'm kind of up for everything. I know that I have certain weaknesses, definitely, as accents, as far as accents go, um, and certain comfort zones. Uh, but I'm really up for everything. Because it's just like it's so much fun. It's so much fun, and it's an exploration of identity and all of that. So to stretch it and to have people come from different countries and different backgrounds is I think kind of the most exciting part of it. Um, but there's definitely some that I would be terrible at.
Example?
Example, Irish or Scottish. Um, uh, yeah, those two would be really, they would be bad. They'd be very bad. Jordan can do a really good Irish and Scottish, but I
And
cannot.
what is your comfort zone?
Hey Menko, hey Cecilia. My comfort zone is probably more in like Eastern Europe. Um, I speak French, I speak German, I speak a little bit of Spanish. I have, Ukrainian background, so those sounds make more sense to me. I know I'm not saying that my accent's perfect in any of those, um, but they're resonant with me in a sort of blood memory kind of way.
And there's quite a few questions from fans about the relationships. LK,
Yeah, I think Evelyn's
yeah,
popping up quite a bit. I can say about Evelyn's hair that I want it very badly. Evelyn's amazing. Evelyn's like such an incredible actress. I was a huge fan of hers before I met her, because I'd seen her in this film called Café de Flore, which is this brilliant French Canadian film, and she's so incredible in it. And when I met her, I sort of fangirled out on her really hard and kind of like just was shaking and excited and so happy that I got to meet her. And amazing, she's so amazing to work with.
there's a question from Rolf asking, what's more challenging, working with clones or horses as you did in Heartland? It's always got to be animals, right?
Horses, always horses, because I'm super allergic to horses and scared of them. So I was like, my eyes were like this big and like my nose was running the whole time and I couldn't breathe. I was trying to look cool on a horse and it was not
Right, so
easy.
this clones are a piece of cake.
Clones are easy. Clones are fine. Except when they're being divas,
Yeah,
they're
I mean, it
fun.
strikes me in your career that you're pretty much up for any challenge. I have not seen the British four-part series, but you played the Virgin Mary. I mean, that's a big role for someone to undertake.
Yeah, that was really daunting and really exciting because I mean, I grew up knowing those stories. I wasn't, super religious or anything, but those stories were really familiar to me. So the challenge for me was kind of letting go of the images I had of Mary and trying to make her a real person and she was just as kind of overwhelmed by the task as I was as an actor to approach it. So that, immediately helped me kind of get in like there's no way that I could ever conceive myself being playing the Virgin Mary, and just in the same way that she could never conceive that God would, miraculously have his child through her. Like it's just as it's just as comparably insane, but probably more so for her. But
You're using the
yeah.
word conceive a lot with the Virgin Mary. We should
Hi,
stay away
Miriam.
from that. Um,
Right.
there's a lot of questions just again about the process. Chelsea Carmichael asking, how much time do you have to spend in hair and makeup and wardrobe every day to switch between the clones? Probably depends on the day.
Um, it's yeah, it depends on the day. It's usually, and it depends on the transition too. If I'm going from like Helena to Allison, it's going to be an extremely long changeover because it's physically so different. But like going from Sarah to Allison is a little bit quicker, and it takes about an hour and a half max to kind of switch over because the hair makeup team are machines and so good at their job, and they just kind of. Um, but yeah, it's about an hour and a half.
The amazing thing about just going through the scroll here and all the questions, you have a lot, there are a lot of people from all over the world
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah,
Bulgaria. Hi,
you just
Bulgaria.
made Ileana
Whoa,
very.
how do I say it? Zdravstvy. I had two best friends who were Bulgarian. They taught me some words. Pristani, I think, which means stop.
Brooke is Brooke is wondering
Hi,
what it
Kaylee.
was like filming the Allison scene singing "Bitch" by Meredith Brooks.
That was I was really nervous for that. I was really scared. I find singing makes me feel very vulnerable, and I was scared of that. But then, Allison would be so excited to be singing that. She I think for her, like, performance has always been a thing. And obviously that was a private moment, but I definitely understand those private moments when you're in your car kind of like feeling so deeply, so hard. And so you're singing or rapping or whatever. Yeah, that was a blast, but I did blow my voice out because I was already losing it and then I
Maybe
totally
that
lost it.
adds to the vocals there, though, right?
Yeah, totally. Gave her this growly kind of rock and roll thing. What up, Katrina? Hey, Kat.
How many? There's a question from Ariel. How many wigs do you have to wear in this
Oh,
show?
and Shauna. Um, I think I wear a wig for every character. Or like pieces at least for every character. Helena's is obviously a full wig. Rachel's obviously a full wig. Casima's like a combo of my hair and then the wig on the back. Um, and Allison is just little insert of bangs on the top. Hi, Abby.
Katie McLean is wondering if you have a favorite relationship to portray on the show.
Oh, that's a hard one.
Yeah, a
Um,
lot of good ones.
it's a great question. They're all amazing relationships, so I find all of them to be really exciting. The Delphine Cosima relationship is really uh, something I connect to quite deeply because of the sort of the imperfection of it and the betrayal in it and the it just feels very real to have fallen for somebody who you knew kind of the whole time would be the wrong person to fall for. I feel like that's quite a human thing, and it was written quite beautifully. And the Felix Sarah thing, like I fell in love with Jordan the second I met him in the audition. When he walked in, I was like, "But who is this guy? Why do I feel like I know him so well?" We just sort of clicked. There was something about us that knew each other and related to each other immediately, and that was really lovely. And Dylan is amazing. I love working with him because we get to play all these really bizarre, who's on whose side, are you on my side? Do we have feelings for each other? Are we using each other? There's all these incredible dynamics in that really quiet kind of relationship. And Christian's awesome to work with as Donnie. Him and Allison have a lot of fun stuff, and he's hilarious and such a wonderful guy to work with. And Art, Kevin is brilliant. I've been a huge fan of Kevin long before I ever got to work with him. So, you know, uh, amazing. And same with Maria. She just elevates the piece. She elevates every scene she's in. You just have to listen to her and you're like, sunk in. The biggest diva is Allison.
When do you start season two?
I loved that You're Damn Right shirt. It was wicked. We start season two sometime later in the year. I'm not sure exactly. I don't think we have an exact date yet, but but it'll be shown 2014 on BBC
Kareen's
America.
wondering, I mean, is there anything you're looking forward to, excited about? You got any hints where you're going?
Um, I can't,
Yeah.
I don't want to say. I don't want to say, but I am super excited. I have met with the creators, and we had a good chat and a good chat about, you know, everything and where it's going. And I think that the cool thing about this show is that the writers really write themselves into corners in an exciting way. They don't make it easy. You never can kind of see where things are going to head, and that to me is so exciting. And like I said, I just trust whatever they're going to throw at me. I'm super up for it. I would love to do karaoke with Jordan. That would be amazing. He would totally upstage me.
Well, just that smile on your face when you said, I don't want to say, kind of indicates we have something good to look forward to next season. Not that we needed any
Oh yeah.
confirmation of
Yeah,
that, but
definitely.
it's exciting.
No,
And
it's so exciting. It's definitely so exciting.
it was exciting that we finally reached you today, and appreciate you taking the time to talk to us.
Yeah, sorry. I'm so glad I got to chat with you guys. Really so glad. Bye, Karine. Bye, O'Shea. I don't want
Yeah,
to go,
have to.
guys. We just keep chat.
All
Let's just
right.
keep chilling. Let's just have some lunch together.
What'd you make? Yeah.
What did I
We'll have
make?
to.
I think there's a banana somewhere around here. Uh, What's that? Hi, is it? Oh, hello, Argentina. How are you guys
Well,
seeing the
that's my
show? This is
question. I mean,
amazing.
there's people all over the
Okay.
world here, and the reach of the show seems to be pretty amazing.
It's insane. It's insane. I don't know how you guys are seeing it. How are you guys
Well,
seeing it?
I'll take that.
I like that somebody's name is Kira's not a lizard. You're taking that?
Maya Roman, I'll take one last question here from the queue. She's wondering,
Okay.
have you watched the show? And if so, what was your visceral reaction to seeing yourself play that many characters? What was it like when you finally, sat down, and did you watch with friends, family? What was that experience like?
Uh, yeah, I watched it with friends and family and um yeah, I think it's one of the shows that I'm really proud of and was really excited to share with my family and my friends and people. And seeing myself playing all those different characters was like I can't help but be critical because that's the kind of person I am, and I just sort of would rather not be picking it all apart, but I am. And I feel like I learned a lot about what works in those clone scenes and what doesn't necessarily, and that was something I was really interested to see how they cut together, because when you're shooting it, it kind of feels like madness. It doesn't feel like it could ever work because it's such a nutty process, but watching those scenes work and seeing how they connect was really exciting. Yeah, really
Well,
exciting.
congratulations on the show and the season. Thank you, Tatiana, for taking the time to talk to us today.
Thank you. Thanks so much, Glenn. Thank you guys so much for showing up and for waiting and being so patient. Helena wins in a fight between a pirate and ninja or Helena. Helena every time.